Good morning. We are going to share with you today, excuse me, some little known secrets that not everybody knows in preparing your home for 2021 to get top dollar. This is Kat with Kat's Home Chat Live, ta-da, Next Level Staging and Design. And our regularly scheduled guest, Houston homegirl Ashlyn, is not feeling, excuse me, too well this morning. So I have with me my Ed McMahon, as I call him, Mr. Wong, the myth, the legend, the man. And he's going to be my Ed McMahon today. And just a little bit about Jeff. We don't have enough time to talk about all of his credentials. First off, being my wonderful business partner, husband, sweetheart for over 22 years as of this month. He has also worked in the real estate business for many years. And I actually call him a stager. He works mostly behind the scenes in our company, Ta-da by Kat. But recently, in the last year or so, I have caught him staging, really staging. And we could do a whole other show on that. Anyway, so welcome, Mr. Wong.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. So we're going to dive right in and share with our audience some of the top mistakes that you as a realtor and/or a homeowner, and really just a home dweller as well, because these are design secrets as well. Some of them intermingle between design and, dwelling, what we call dwelling and selling, that you may be making and not even be aware of it. So number one, this is one that I see all the time as a decorator and a master stager, et cetera. Folks hang their art too high. I would say 95% of the time when I go in to do an occupied consultation and or design, the art is always hung too high. So you might want to write this down. It's kind of an easy tag, 62 inch on center. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that you measure from the bottom of the floor, and 62 inches is where the middle of your artwork should be. And again, most people hang at a good 8 to 12 inches too high. One of the mistakes that is often made in this category also. In fact, recently, one of my assistants was assisting me in hanging some artwork. We've recently refurbished, remodeled our home. And the thought was, well, the ceilings are so high, we want to take up more space. So it was hung about 8 to 10 inches too high. I lived with it for about a couple of days, and nope, it was not right. It needed to be connected to the sofa more, or it just looks like it's floating in space. So look around, look at your art, 62 inch on center. Would you agree with that, Mr. Wong?
See. And
See.
that means yes.
Okay, see, very good. Okay, so number two, this is one that as a newbie 6, 7, 8 years ago, I look back at some of my staging projects, and partially it was because I didn't have a budget. I didn't have $300,000 worth of inventory decor. But the other part was I just didn't know what I didn't know. And that is number two, using a rug that's too small. Okay. And right, not a good look. Okay. So the rug should be large enough to where it at least is under the front legs of the sofa or the chairs that they're going to be on. So basically that usually means an 8 by 10 for most normal size living rooms, 5 by 7. And that's what we used in our beginning days. It just looks skimpy. Okay. It doesn't anchor what I call, it doesn't anchor the space, unless you've got just a little, 2-chair, sitting corner or something like that. Maybe you could do a 5 by 7 round, but for living rooms, 8 by 10. You want an 8 by 10 and have at least the front legs of the sofa or the chairs on the rug so that you create that anchor and cohesive, inviting look. Would you agree, Mr. Wong?
See, and that means yes.
Okay, good. Thank you for your input. Hey, Peggy.
Hello.
Hey, Peggy. Peggy says hi. Jeff.
Hi there. Peggy.
Howdy, Peggy. I don't know if we can see anybody. Oh, she's laughing. Okay. We love you too, sweetie. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, too much excess furniture. You know, there's a saying that dear Barb Schwartz, the creator of home staging, we had her on a week or so. Actually, was it last week, Jeff?
Week before. Last week.
Week before. We were honored to have, and if you have not seen that, go onto my YouTube channel, Tada by Kat, and you will see the recorded episode of Barb Schwartz. It was all about being thankful, and a wonderful episode. However, one of her, what I call Barb-isms, is that how we live in our home is different than how we market it to sell it.
Absolutely.
So we all have too much furniture. How much stuff did we get rid of, Jeff, when we were redoing our home? Truckloads, right?
Oh, easily.
From donations to just get rid of it, to giveaways. We gave away furniture, a piano to a very deserving family. You know, we gave, it just didn't serve us anymore, and we're not selling. But if you're trying to get top dollar for a very short time, you may have to give up that Barca Lounger and put it in storage or give it away, or, you know, or store it. We probably have about 1/3 too much stuff, and we want to create that illusion of more space and more square feet, because that's what your realtor, if you're a realtor, you know, that's what you're selling, is that concept of spaciousness. And they, you know, your realtor is going to look at the per square feet. So you want to give the impression that there's plenty of room. And that goes for, it's another talking point, but closets. Don't take all your stuff and just shove it in closets, you know, or have your pantry over brimming. That impression is, wow, if they don't have enough room for all their stuff, I probably won't either. Right. So pack stuff away. You know, my rule of thumb for bookshelves and really most things is take away at least 1/3. Have there be space, some breathing space, for closets, for bookshelves, for living spaces, etc. So too much stuff, right?
Yes.
Too much stuff.
C.
Okay. Thank you for your brilliant comment, Mr. Wong. Okay. Let's talk about, we talked about rugs, too much furniture, art, withering plants. Now, I don't know how many folks have time to keep real plants alive. I don't have a real green thumb, so I don't. But if you do have plants, make sure they're not withering and dying. That ties in place with another one of my pet peeves, and that's the front porch. If you've got doppers, is that what they call them here in Texas? Dopper, the things making those nests.
Mud something.
Yeah, mud pies or something. But a dirty door, dying plants at the front door. Here's what happens when you as a realtor or your realtor is out showing property and they're trying to get the door unlocked and the clients are looking around and they're looking at, is it taken care of or not?
That's right.
And if it's not, because most people go in through the garage, a lot of people, we don't, but a lot of people go in through the garage because they have space and they forget about the front door. But freshen up that front door, fresh plants, even if we have used faux plants, they look fabulous in pictures and won't die, because that's that first impression. And again, it's that subliminal, well, wow, if they're not taking care of this, I wonder if they've, and their plants or their front porch, the aesthetics, I wonder if they've maintained the HVAC, right? The water heater, the HVAC, other things. So it gives a subliminal message that the property's not taken care of. And, you know, we all know you never get a second chance for a first impression. So we want to make those first impressions awesome. So we leave no questions or negative thoughts from the potential buyers. Anything on that, Mr. Wong?
It's always about impressions that you're making. If you neglect parts of what you're presenting to the prospective buyer, they're getting the impression that it was neglected, not being taken care of. So there's hidden things in their mind saying, well, if they're not taking care of this, what else are they not taking care of? It puts a sense of doubts in their head when they're previewing your property. You don't want that. You want to be always well prepared. That's why these little things about the mistakes, like having things that look odd, like the area rug being small. If you walk into a home seeing that, you would find it being very odd and out of place. And what happens is this harmonizes the living space, and immediately you feel different.
You feel, and thanks for bringing that up, Jeff, because staging, and again, I'm quoting my dear friend Barb and creator of Home Staging.
Hi, Barb.
Hope you're watching, Barb. Staging is a feeling. And we have a tagline at Tada. Tada's magical transformations create that feeling. And artful, excellent staging, proper staging does create that feeling. Buyers justify price, you guessed it, with feeling. Okay, they will analyze price, but they will feel. How many times, if you're a realtor out there, have you heard a client, you're working with buyers, and you've showed them X number of homes, they have everything on their have to have list, and you're like, well, great, this has got everything that you said you wanted. Are you ready to make an offer? And they're like, no, I don't think so. Well, why? I don't know. I'll know it when what's the answer, Mr. Wong?
If I feel it.
When you feel it.
Yes.
So staging is a feeling. It's a feeling, just as a home is a feeling. It's about feeling, creating that feeling. Absolutely.
Buying is a huge emotional motivator. And the fact is that every one of us who's been in professional sales are taught in depth about human behavior, about emotional content from your prospect. And these are things to be really the importance of how to prepare your home. And today's market, especially in certain pockets around here in Texas, you're going to put a home up for sale and it's gone less than a week because it is a seller's market. So you have to understand what's all going on along with that. And preparing your home correctly, it's quintessential because you get that one shot of somebody walking in, be impressed with the way, how it feels, how it smells, how it, looks.
All the senses.
Absolutely. Those are the key factors that are they having that, what we call it, the wow factor.
The wow factor.
You don't have it, then they're going to go, okay, well, yeah, that's not bad. They make a little note on their piece of paper or on the MLS listing, whatever, and then they go to the next one. If they see 6 homes, chances are they're only remembering 2 or 3 of them. And if you didn't have that wow pop factor to their experience, then chances are you're not that top 2 or 3. And that's how you want to change that. You want to build your opportunity to become the top 1 or 2. So therefore, you're always be in contention, always be considered when they sit at the table at the end of the day with their realtor and say, okay, which one would you like to put an offer in? And the first thing they may say is, you remember that house where they had that glorious rug and the nice pillow on that couch that made everything just wanted you to sit down and be at home? You have to think about these type of things that comes from your buyers are saying to you. These are key clues that is telling you what they want. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, sometimes the realtor or the people that's around, like maybe his mom with the kids, or maybe it's a husband with the wife, and they're talking themselves out of it. Well, I know this is everything we wanted, but this is only day 2 or day 1. So shall we go look somewhere else? And the fact remains is if it matches everything on your list, this is your home.
But they do need to feel it. So let me just play devil's advocate here, Jeff, and ask you a little bit about, because it is a buyer's market right now, of course, some people feel that they don't need to stage, whether it's occupied or vacant. Okay. Now, sometimes that's the realtor making the decision, but, just kind of the consensus, oh yeah, they're just flying off. So yeah, they may be, but how could staging, even in a buyer's market, benefit the seller?
Well, massage, anytime you have any kind of buyer or seller's market, it massages the industry, the selling of the homes, opposed to being stagnant. Okay, so that's number one thing that I think everybody should be extremely excited about. Despite of what we've gone through in 2020, all the nuttiness and all the stay-at-homes and so forth, real estate is actually somewhat moving right along, especially in our greater Houston, Texas, and our surrounding communities. So the fact that I think everybody needs to consider is this: if you're a seller, you're ready to sell, prepare yourself for the best impression that you can give. That means hire professionals. That means take professional pictures. That means do all the things that is going to put you in the best spotlight to get that result. If you're a buyer, you're walking in and you need to make a list. This is one of the things that most people are not even, I think, savvy enough, because nobody ever sit down and says, oh, what are your must needs? Like for us, didn't we talk about having a huge yard because we like outdoor living? We like having trees. We like having yard. Plus, if we have dogs and pets and so forth, we want them to go to the backyard. So if that's such a big thing in my lifestyle, then I need to make that a priority when we go search for a home. So that way, whether it's my realtor or whether it's my family, they go, oh, that's a beautiful home. I love it. Right next to the bayou down the street from my house. But the yard is super small, so it doesn't fit me. So why am I going to waste an hour to go there to look at it?
Absolutely. And that's something, I didn't really drill down to Ashlyn's topics, but I'm sure she would agree with that, in terms of preparation, and especially if you're a newer realtor, you want to drive the situation, through your client, through doing a lot of information gathering and taking that preparation time to say, let's sit down and let's talk about what are your must-haves, because that way you can better serve your client and you're not wasting a lot of time, et cetera, taking them to stuff that, oh, well, that's got power lines in the back. I don't want that. So sometimes it's talking about what you want and what you don't want. Some things I absolutely do not want to have. Now, will that change? Yes. Sometimes by showing them, you'll find out, oh, they absolutely need to have a double oven. That wasn't on the list, but it surfaces once you've shown them a few properties. So you can, narrow down on that. But I will tell you, being in all things real estate for 25 plus years, sometimes people don't know what they want, or they don't know what they want till they see it. And that's where the emotion, I have literally seen them say, well, I absolutely have to have a pool. And then they fall in love with the home that doesn't have a pool because they fell in love with the home. So, there's a fine line between that, in deciphering that. But as Jeff said, starting off with a plan, plan your work and work your plan. And that's going to help your client, and it's going to help you find the perfect home. Now, back to it being a seller's market. By having the home in its best light, whether it's you stage it yourself, whether you have a consultation, Zoom consultation, in-person consultation, or it's a vacant property and you have it staged, a key room stage, even in a seller's market, studies show you are going to increase the sale price. Staged sales price and unstaged sales price are two different things. And we're talking nationwide. from 7 to 17% more. That's real money, guys. That's equity that for a little effort up front, you can, gain that equity and put money in your pocket by looking your best and preparing the property. Okay. So some of the things, and this isn't on my list, I'm going to get into a parlay, another point here of a mistake you may be making staging and didn't know it, but one of which is having the home clean, sparkle clean. I got my little sparkle diamond here. Sparkle
It's blinding.
Clean. This is the diamond I want, honey. This is the I can barely lift it diamond ring. That's the one I'd like for my 23rd.
I've never seen anybody sell that in the back of a car before.
Really? Hey, now. Anywho, what was I saying? I lost. Okay, so sparkle clean, toothpick, what is it? Q-tip clean, needs to be clean. Okay, decluttered. Of course, we talked about that. Okay, I want to stick to my points here. So this is one that's very dear to me because we have two brand new puppies, and Jeff and I have never been without 3 to 5 dogs and or cats back in our California days. But
includes me.
It includes you. He's my dearest pet.
Oh.
But you don't want to allow pets in the home while showing, if at all possible. Okay. You need to remove every trace of pets. Okay. And I'm talking, leashes, pet toys. There's been folks who, at the sight of a chewy toy, break out and sneeze. Some people have allergies. Some people are fearful. And, again, you're trying to mitigate or eliminate every possibility for someone to say, oh, no, this home is not for me. So there's various solutions. You can, if you're home, you can take your pets for a walk during the showing. Usually it's an hour window. You can get a neighbor if possible, if you work outside the premise. There's various solutions. At minimum, we had a staging client not too long ago that they didn't have those options. So there was a room, upstairs on like a 4th top floor with a big closet that they created them. It was almost like a bonus auxiliary room. But do what you can to, and again, we are big pet lovers, but you want to eliminate any trace of pets. And that includes, Crystal, this is for you, reptiles.
You mean lizards and stuff?
One of my stagers, I just found out, has two reptiles, one pretty big. So yeah, reptiles. Yeah, that would get me running, but she's not trying to sell her home, so that's good. So we did the decluttering. Okay, so this is one of my favorites. You don't want to have a sea of beige. Okay, it's boring. And even if you're not, if you like beige on grayish on tan on neutral, even if you have the big, we see them a lot in Texas, the big leather brown couches, etc., go to Home Goods and, spend a small amount of money. Even Ross, they have great prices on pillows, and pick up whatever, pick out a color that's kind of cohesive in your home. If you don't have any color, then bring in a neutral color, gray or black and white, or red goes very good with brown. We've done reds and tones of reds with texture when we've had a lot of brown. It's amazing what bringing in a pop of color with pillows, what we call movable color, and it's inexpensive. You don't have to go out and make a huge investment, and pepper that throughout the home. Let's say a couple on the couch, one on the master, in the bedroom. Excuse me. It will just make a world of difference in pictures, which is your first showing. I know you've heard me say that before. Your pictures online are your first showing. It used to be 88% people look online first. Now I think it's even higher with the whole COVID thing. So definitely your first showing's online. So it needs to look great. It needs to pop and not be a boring sea of beige, because your realtor and or the homeowner is just going to click through to the next one that looks great to prompt them to go out and take a tour of it. So get rid of the sea of beige, bring in an easy pop of color, whether it's a throw and a pillow. Pillows are the easiest without making a huge investment. So we covered that, sea of beige. We covered pets, decluttering. So offering, this is another one of my favorite, and Jeffrey knows about this because I come from new home sales and I have actually seen the effect of offering allowances. Okay. And so if you are a realtor out there and or a homeowner, I would strongly discourage you from going, oh, they can, we'll just give them a paint allowance for that red dining room wall. Or, yeah, I know it's got old, outdated shag carpet, but we'll just give them a $5,000 carpet allowance. Please do not. I don't have a thumbs down, but don't. Oh, where's my? Don't do that. Please don't do that. I'd go in the kitchen and grab it, but yeah, don't do that. And let me tell you why. Back to people don't buy what they don't see. Okay. And I'm going to give you a story, true story. When I was working new home sales, and I was a closeout specialist for a prominent builder here in Houston. And they were patio homes in about $350,000, $380,000 range. So not inexpensive. We're going back to, whenever the downturn was with that 2006, 2008, something like that. Yeah. And carpet in the living areas. So, realtors were bringing clients out and they were looking and seeing the carpet and they weren't buying them, because that's not what in that price range, people wanted wood. So I talked to my project manager and I said, look, we need to, in the next takedown, we need to put wood in there. He's like, well, I've got an idea. We'll just get samples from the design center and they can, because we don't know what color wood they want. That was the comeback. So we'll just bring out some samples and say, with this home, it's an inventory built home that we're trying to, sell. They can pick whatever wood. Do you think that worked, Jeff?
No, of course not.
No, that didn't work. Again, why? Because people don't buy what they don't see. They walk in, they see a sea of carpet. Excuse me. They see the samples, but they can't imagine it. 89% of people polled said they cannot imagine, and this is going to go into my next topic, a vacant home, how to put their stuff. They certainly can't imagine a little sample like this of what the wood would look like, and more importantly, what it would feel like.
That's right.
That they could sense themselves living in this luxurious, space that has carpet, even though they're told we'll include wood. Okay, so fast forward, the next takedown, my boss listened to me, and I said, look, let's just do a 5-inch hand-scraped mocha, wood. We did it. It looked fabulous. We sold them in record time. And, again, because of all the reasons I just mentioned, because people then could see it, they could feel it. They wanted to make it their home. And so let me just take it back on the resale side for you, why you should never, ever, ever do that. Give a credit, because let's say you do find the perfect buyer. And they're like, you know what? This is the right school district. My Aunt Nelda lives down the street. It's got everything I want, the double oven, the big yard. But, oh my gosh, the carpet, it's like shag carpet. So typically the woman, not always, but there's a book out there that promotes that. It's called She Buys. It was recommended reading when I was with a builder. And 9 times out of 10, she does buy. So she says, honey, can't we just get it? It's perfect. My Aunt Nelda lives down the street. We love it. Everything's perfect. And Hubs is like, okay, fine. We'll put an offer in, but we're going to offer $20,000 less. Eek. So maybe the carpet cost 6,000, let's just say, even if it was half that, right? Even if it was 10,000, let's say it's a huge house. You just ripped up $10,000 of equity because you were, I'm not going to say too lazy. You just didn't know the psychology of buyers. And so do it up front, right? Do it up front, replace it. They'll love it. Don't worry about, does it work? If you need a consultation for what color of wood, you can always call us. We do color consultation to save you huge mistakes, whether it's paint or floor, etc. But do it. Paint it. Change the flooring before you put it on the market for that first impression. Anything to tag along on that, sweetie?
Yeah, let me just make sure everybody kind of understands the mindset behind what you are sharing with everybody here. The key factor from a buyer's point of view, if you walk in and you're going, well, this needs to be replaced, that needs to replace, the immediate thought process goes into offering lower price because I'm going to need to use it to
leverage,
fix this up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your home becomes the product that is a fixer-upper. That is not what you want.
Right.
When you take the initiative, put a little investment into it, then you go up and work on your comparative analysis. So your fair market value priced out there. If you go up a couple of points higher, nobody's going to squawk at it because you walk in your home, it's immaculate. It's ready, showroom ready. What does that mean? That literally is no different than if you walk into a car dealership, into their showroom, you fall in love with the showroom. Then they say, oh, well, you like this one with all the bells and whistles. We're going to have to order it for you because you know what? They only got one. And this is a key factor. If we look at the whole inventory of real estate throughout the Houston greater communities, you're going to find a lot of homes that is not prepared, not staged, empty, just basically no soul. So therefore, all these homes are just going to be afterthoughts compared to the one they walked in. The wow factor's there. All the so-called, the emotional triggers are popping because the color brings a certain feelings in, certain energy flows through the way that the furnitures are set in certain room to direct the flow of the energy, all those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're touching on so many key points. Gosh, you'd think you were married to me.
What?
So one of the buzzwords that you use, I'm going to call it buzz, is that the home doesn't have a soul. And so that leads me right in, Jeffrey, to my last point, and that is a mistake. We started off mistakes you were making in staging and didn't even know it, and that is to sell or show a vacant home. We have a saying, vacant don't make it. Well, why? Because as Jeff said, it doesn't have a soul. There's so many reasons really not to show a home vacant. Number one, it's perceived as a distressed property. I don't know if y'all realize that. So again, it's that subliminal thing, no different than when they're sitting on the front porch and looking around, the subliminal thought of, are they taking care of the home? Because this doesn't look so great. There's that subliminal thought that, they're probably carrying 2 mortgage payments and they had to leave really quickly because they got transferred or whatever. In real estate, there's a myriad of things that cause us to move, buy, and sell. It can be good and bad. A promotion, a demotion, a death, a marriage, a wedding, a transfer, a lot of stuff. But that's the subliminal thought behind a vacant home is it must be distressed. So what does that mean? Okay, I think I can come in and lowball because they don't want to carry 2 mortgage payments. So that's one strong point. The second point is
counterproductive to your agenda.
Absolutely. The second is, and I've run across this personally as a master stager, folks perceive the space as smaller. And we've had to, I'm going to call it stage correct, many properties where the feedback was, oh, the master bedroom's so small. I'm like, are you kidding? We usually use a queen, but in this space, I'm going to use a king. It's that big. And surely, once you define the space and show them what you can get and in the space, it's game over. They fall in love with it and it's game over, because they can now see how they can live in the space. This is not on my list, but I want to, when we're talking about spatial placement, because I would say that's probably one of the biggest challenges in differences between okay staging and great staging is furniture placement. When I go into Occupied to do Occupied consultations, along with the pictures being hung too high, the second most prominent thing that I run across is furniture shoved up against the wall. Now, we love our open concept spaces. Builders have jumped on that bandwagon, and they're making them more and more open concept loft looking, kitchen into the family. That's how we want to live. No more are the galley kitchens. Now, we correct those too with flipper properties. Corrective staging is one of my fortes. So we work with a lot of investors and do corrective staging for homes that, aren't updated. They aren't open concept, or maybe they have that antiquated formal living room, and we turn that into an updated on-trend space. But so all the more, most folks will shove their furniture up against the wall, particularly in these open concept spaces, because they're not educated in how to properly furniture space. They don't know, how much room you should have for walking, and they don't understand the concept of floating and making dual zones. And that's one thing that's, that is absolutely works well in corrective staging. So just as a rule of thumb, so I'm going to give you some information here. You want to always leave at least 36-inch walking space. So that should give you an idea. If you're tempted to shove your couch up against the wall, pull the couch up towards the focal center. If it's a fireplace, in staging, we use faux TVs if there's no focal point to create a focal point, an anchor point. And if you've got enough room to do that, put your 8x10 rug, float your sofa up, and you've still got 36 inches walkway, you're good to go. Or I would say a golden thumbs up.
See, and that means yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So I think that's all of our talking points here for today. Withering plants, area rug. Yeah, we covered a lot of, I'm sorry, last one. Another mistake folks will make is neglecting the patio area. So, outdoor living is really trending these days, whether it's, winter or summer. So, you want to create an irresistible staycation, all the more important today when we're spending more time in our homes. I mean, for Jeff and I, we work at our home. So, it's been just a joy for us to revamp and remodel our home, because we're here. I'm going to revamp and remodel you. How about me? We're looking at each other 24/7. But all the more, I'm going to stay on point here. Create that staycation space. Don't leave, hoses and things out and clutter. Declutter the back also. It doesn't take much. 2 little chairs, a small table, and some color, faux color, if you don't have, sun in the back. But just create that ambiance where someone could imagine themselves sitting out under your covered patio or next to your pool, or just, looking out over your garden. And that extends that living space. So don't neglect that as well. So I think we're coming to the little past the half-hour mark, Mr. Wong. And I thank you so much. We for being my esteemed guest today and jumping in, being my Ed McMahon. we are putting Healing Thoughts out to Ashlyn. She's going to be our guest in the new year. And maybe the same topics. Not really sure what her talking points were in preparing home for 2021. She is a specialist, a buyer specialist in the Houston area. If you or you know someone who would love to be a guest on our show, reach out to us, send us a message. We are booking into January and would love to have really any topic. We can tie just about any topic. We've had, Lori Gaza from Essential Oils. That's all about what you smell when you come into a home. So, inspectors we're constantly looking for. Lately, they've been pretty busy and haven't been able to join us. But, contractors, inspectors, anything to do with the home. The topics are broad, right? Jeff talked about music because, again, we buy with our senses, mostly our eyes, but our ears, our nose, sometimes our mouth with cookies and stuff. But, we're not seeing people leave cookies out anymore. I used to leave cats kisses, but then you'd see the little string laying around the house. That's not a good one. No, that's not a good one. If you like this show, please give it a thumbs up. Give us a comment. We love your interactions, and we do go back and answer questions, etc. This will also be posted on YouTube. We are still doing a gift giveaway of a $5 gift certificate. If you go to YouTube, just Google Tada by Kat, TADA. BYKAT. My channel will come up. Subscribe and smash the bell, as they say. And then just shoot me a message of where I can mail your $5 Starbucks gift card, our gift to you. And you might wonder, why are we paying people to subscribe? Well, it's our gift to you. We just put it in our marketing budget. We are past the 50 mark. I think we're up to 60 something, Jeff. And as soon as we get to 100, we get our own unique URL. And so it's just a goal. It's a goal that we've been working towards. And we thank you in advance for doing that. And tell a friend also. We really appreciate that. So oops, I'm eating my microphone. Until next week, stay positive. Stay hopeful, stay connected. And we thank you so much for connecting with us today. Right, Jeff?
Yes.
See.
That means see.
And we ask you to go forward this weekend and pay it forward with positivity. I say that every week. A simple way you can pay it forward with positivity? Smile. Walk down the street and smile to a stranger. Smile to someone who looks like they really need a smile. They're looking really down in the dumps, and it will put a smile in your heart as well. And until next week, we thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Jeffrey.